Joe was big on lists.
I'm a big listicle person.
Was talk to Avery yesterday.
I saw you were on his show.
And before the show, we were talking. He was like, yeah, y'all do like a good list over there. It's like, well, we need to make this as digestible as possible for your little 30-second attention span brains.
Nothing's better than a list.
All right.
Oh, it's an instant keep.
Wait. Oh, is it a keep? What was it?
You have no idea. It's one of my favorite songs of all time. Don't Trust Her by 303.
Oh.
Or Don't Trust Me by 303.
Don't Trust Me?
I always thought it was Don't Trust a Hoe, but
Yeah.
that's not the name of the song. It's Don't Trust Me.
Okay.
Because you can't name the song that, I guess. It's Friday. I'm just flinging it out. It's such a good song.
It is.
I was raging on my way into work.
As well, you should. Give me
She
just
wants
a
to
sec.
touch me, whoa, she'll never leave me, whoa, she'll never leave me, whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Don't trust a hoe,
Oh.
never trust a hoe.
Oh.
Don't trust a hoe, don't trust me. Shush, girl, shush your lips, do the Helen Keller, and talk with your hips. I said, shush, girl. What a line. That's poetry. Shakespeare could never.
No.
Could never. I loved 303. Oh.
As well, you should. All right.
303.
Time has come.
Time has
We've been
come.
waiting for.
Okay.
Pause the music.
Okay.
All right. Dramatic drum roll effect, please.
Keep or delete.
All right. What song is being deleted from this month?
Give me some options.
Single Ladies.
No.
Candyman.
No.
I Am the One. Teams Cruella seems to be something on
Oh,
here.
I like that one. Yeah.
Hey Jude.
No.
Swimming pools.
No.
What Christmas Means to Me.
Hannah Waddingham edition. I remember that one.
Yep.
That's an option.
Way Too Sexy.
No.
You Got a Friend in Me.
No.
Love on the Brain.
No.
A Little Party Never Hurt Nobody Festival Remix.
Ooh, it's the festival route. Maybe.
Super Jumbo, super freaky version of Get Your Freak On, which you already have 4 versions of.
I think we can stop the list. I think it's got to be the super jumbo, super freaky, super freak on.
Delete
Every
it right
month-
now.
every
Pick your
month-
phone up on camera
Every
and
month
delete
we
the
will be
song
deleting
right now.
one song. We're
I
gonna
didn't even
figure out
realize
a
we were back.
we're
But
gonna figure out a more ceremonial way to do this.
we need the poppers, streamers.
Super
We need
free
streamers
throw.
like a Grizzlies win. We used to have the poppers. Bennett had the poppers that we used to use. I'll buy some poppers and we can just let confetti off and throw sprinkles all over the place. The herpes of arts and crafts. Just throw them all over the place. Did you
right.
delete it?
It's gone. What's up, everybody? It is Friday, February 28th. It is going to be a good day. The last day of February. It is not a leap year. Jessica Benson with you from the Grind City Media Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. CJ Hurt behind the glass. Coming up on today's show, it is a Grizzlies game day, and it is a big one with the New York Knicks coming to town. Big Grizz weekend with the San Antonio Spurs in town on Saturday. We will get into all of that. Whitaker is going to join us about 20 minutes in. We will get into the hoops action from last night. Steph Curry is insane. NFL Combine Week continues. Travis Hunter wants to play both ways in the NFL, and the other Travis Kelce, is coming back for another season. We'll end with some Music Friday. Our Grind City Media Sonic Mailbag question of the week was greatest 2-hit wonders of all time. Not 1-hit wonders, 2-hit wonders. So we will dive into that. Also, Lizzo is back. Katy Perry is going to space, and some music to listen to as you go into your weekend. It is a Friday. You know what we say. Get your freak on. Ooh, get your freak on.
Fly by King. Wheels through the lane, now spins back. Ja hangs, puts it in! Oh, what a shot by Morant in the clutch. So hot. Oh, Jared said no! Because he doesn't put on a play, comes up with a monster block.
Our fans have a huge impact on our ability to play to the level that we're striving for.
Drop off, Morant. Oh! Well, you want wanted home crowd involvement.
I love those moments where you see our guys engaging in the fans, and the fans just get pumped up.
They are standing in FedEx Forum.
I would hate to be on the other side with the opposition when FedEx Forum's rolling. That's such an unbelievable relationship that our group has with our fans.
At the National Civil Rights Museum, history moves us forward. The question remains, how does history move you?
Keep on talking, marching up to freedom now.
Bain drives.
Oh yeah.
Close. He hits and the Grizzlies have the lead.
Yeah!
Jarrett with a knockaway.
Good defense.
Morant attacking, spinning, hanging, and hitting.
Let's go!
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
We did get a new shoe that dropped today that we should all be able to get if we want it.
Fire.
And it's been one people have been waiting for a long, long time.
Yep.
Asia Wilson. What do you guys think about the shoe?
I love it.
It looks great. We see people wearing Jaws. We see a lot of people wearing the GT line, but then also we see a lot of NBA players wearing the Sabrinas.
Sabrina, yeah.
I bet you there's gonna be a lot of NBA players wearing.
I agree with you on that.
too.
Oh yeah.
The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Feels great to feel the sunshine. Gotta own the day like it's all mine. Just got paid in his own time. Been working hard, I've been on the grind. I deserve this feeling, having my way. I've been on this healing. This is my day. The sun's out, let's have a little fun now. I wanna let it all out. That's what it's all about. Cause I deserve this feeling, I have it my way. I deserve this healing. This is my day.
Grind City Media presents The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt. Live from the Grind City Media Studios on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Everybody, happy Friday. We have made it to the end of the week. We have made it to 2 Grizzlies home games that we get this coming weekend at FedEx Forum. Huge Grizzlies games. Grizzlies Knicks tonight, the first of a home back-to-back, and then Grizzlies Spurs on Saturday. Be there or be square. You don't want to be square because that's lame. Grizzlies back in second possession of the West. Back in possession of the 2 seed, sole possession of the 2 seed in the Western Conference after the Nuggets lost to the Bucks. We will get into all things Grizzlies today, but first wanted to get into the NBA action from last night because CJ, I was dumb. As a spouse, like happy spouse, happy house, you need to keep track of the things that mean something to your partner. And stupid me, I forgot that February 27th is International Steph Curry Day. I completely forgot it on my calendar.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh, it is.
Until people started tweeting out.
Yeah. See, you forget. It's like reverse leap year because like a couple February 27ths get lost along the way.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think back on February 27th, 2013, 12 years ago, was Steph Curry's first 50-point game. It was his 56-point night at Madison Square Garden, 54-point night, at Madison Square Garden. And then February 27th, 9 years ago, in 2016, was the double bang game in Oklahoma City. And we love a Steph Curry double bang game. And then yesterday, so 12 years after the first, 9 years after the last, but February 27th, 2025, Steph Curry goes off for 56 points against the Orlando Magic and makes 12 threes. At 36 years old, Steph Curry made 12 threes, scored 56 points. He had the arena in Orlando, because it was an away game, electric. They're chanting MVP for an away player in their arena. And here is Steph Curry's stat line from last night. 56 points on 16 of 25 shooting, 12 of 19 from three, 12 of 19 from the three-point line, 12 of 12 from the free throw line, 93% true shooting percentage, scored 22 points in the third quarter. That was his 42nd 20-plus point quarter. That is the most in NBA history. At number 2 is Kobe Bryant, who had 36. Again, Steph Curry is at 42 after last night. My husband was having the time of his life. It was also a reminder of we are old, because I cannot believe that Steph Curry first went off for 50 plus in 2013, which surely had to be like yesterday or the day before or a few days prior. But it was 12 years ago. Where were you in 2013?
2013. Struggling to find myself financially.
Oh, what a time.
2013, I'm pretty sure I was working a job that I hated, and I hated everybody involved.
So nothing has changed.
No, nothing has changed.
Just like Steph Curry, nothing has changed. That's what struck me, though. Like, since 2013, I was in college, and I wasn't speaking to Chris Luther at the time. I didn't think I was ever going to speak to him again, and he's like a massive Warriors fan. And I remember where I was watching that Steph Madison Square Garden game. I was in a fraternity house watching it with a bunch of people, and I remember in the back of my head thinking, oh, that's annoying. That Chris Luther across the country is probably losing his damn mind over this performance. I wonder what he's up to. Little did I know I'd run into him like a month and a half later. And now I think since 2013, I graduated, I've had 4 jobs, I've lived in 3 cities, I'm married, I live in Memphis, Tennessee, and yet Steph Curry is just still out here doing the exact same ish that Steph Curry was doing 12 years ago. It's remarkable. Like, I will genuinely miss nights like last night from Steph Curry. Greatest shooter of all time, one of the greatest performers, because everything's a performance for me, of all time in the NBA. When you find out that he's in the process of putting together a night like last night, all I wanted to do was watch that game, and I couldn't because it wasn't on anywhere, and that was so frustrating. I wish there was a way, and I know this is impossible, but I wish there was a way where like TNT could cut into the end of the Warriors Magic game in a situation, or NBA TV at least. NBA TV was running, like, funny enough, a Bay Area sports story, and it was featuring Steph Curry, but you couldn't see Steph Curry.
Yeah, the NBA could figure out a way to put those types of things on when somebody's having one of those nights. Put that on the TV somewhere. I was watching the Bucks
Nuggets game,
and so they continuously interrupted, like, hey, just so y'all know, Steph Curry is going the F off right now. And so that's how I found out about it. And then you find out about it, and while the Bucks game is on the TV, hop on social just to see the reactions and try and get a couple of the highlights and some of the clips from the Steph Curry game. He's so good as a shooter, and his game is, all of these guys are really good athletes. All right, some more than others. Steph's game does not lend itself to a tremendous feat of athleticism, right? I don't think so. He's just really, really accurate from 3, from deep. He's 36, and in sports age, like, that's old, but hell, it's not that old if you're not going to lean on your athleticism a whole bunch. Steph Curry could do this, especially looking at what LeBron James is doing at the age of 40. Steph Curry could be doing this for somebody well into his 40s and doing it at a high level. He's that good of a basketball player. He's that good of a shooter.
Thanks to Chris Luther, I woke up with infinite Twitter DMs of stats from last night. I will not share every single one of them, but some of the pertinent ones. Most games with 9+ three-pointers in NBA history. Steph Curry with 45. Can you just guess how many the next person has?
8.
14.
Okay.
Damian Lillard. And Klay Thompson had 12. Steph Curry, most 50+ point games after turning 30. Steph with 9. Wilt Chamberlain had 7. 36 years old, 56 points on 92.5% true shooting. Sorry, I rounded it up to 93%, but that felt fair. Chris would like you to know that Steph has as many 50-point games as LeBron James, but Steph has tied him at 14 with 538 fewer games played. Chris just wants you to know that. That's just a stat that Chris Luther would like you to know in this world. And the 20-point quarter stat was the other one that he flung around. It's wild. That was Jimmy Butler's first game ever playing with a teammate who went off for 50 points, which I thought that was like the most bizarre thing coming out of the night. He technically was on a team with Derrick Rose in Minnesota, where Derrick Rose had a 50-point game, but Jimmy Butler was not playing in that game.
Okay.
So this was his first time playing in a game with a teammate who went off for 50 or more points. And he only took him playing 8 games with Steph Curry for it to finally happen in his life. It is a reminder. Like, that is why you still look at this Warriors team, and they've been so much better since adding Jimmy Butler after the trade deadline, and I think it's very fair to talk about them in a different way today than pre-trade deadline Warriors. But it's also the Steph Curry effect. Like, as long as he has the ability to do that, you can win any game. The Warriors were playing like poo. Like, they were down, they were bad, and you watch a player like this in Steph Curry, who ends up with 12 threes, and he just had the magic, like, down, depressed, downtrodden. That 3-quarter length shot is my favorite. The reactions of the Magic players after he hits this, like, come on. Like, the entire bench just dejected. That should be the international Steph Curry just did that signal, like,
We don't make dudes or dudettes who can, when they get going, there's nothing you can do. You just kind of got to ride it out. And so in that moment, when that shot goes in, all of the shrugs is like, all right, he's that tonight. There's not a scheme we have. There's not a game plan we can execute to stop him when he gets going like this. Just hold on and pray, I guess. And that's pretty much it. And that can be really, really frustrating as a competitor when you know, like, hey, there's nothing we can do to stop that. There's nothing we can do to hold him. And it can be frustrating when that happens. And Steph Curry is one of those athletes, man. We talked about it with D'Angelo about the difference in really good players and great players and true phenoms, right? And Steph Curry is a phenom in that he can do that on a night. And the Warriors now, not only can he do that, but it's not empty. The Warriors won that game. And so the Warriors right now they can see the 6th seed. They can see that. They can see the playoffs. Pre-Jimmy Butler trade, they couldn't see the playoffs. They can see the playoffs right now.
they're through the fog. That famous San Francisco fog is lifted.
And it's not that damn foggy anymore. It's
a nice crystal clear blue sky.
We're a game back of this thing, right? A game or a half game, a half game back. They can get into the playoffs now. Mm-hmm. And if you've got Steph Curry who can do that on a given night, in a series, he can do that in a pivotal game 5, right? Mm-hmm. You think you can win any series. You're like, yeah, we might be the 6th seed, but yeah, we'll go out there and take on whomever it may be. We'll beat this team right here and then take on a 3 seed. And then, hell, when we play the 1 seed, we believe we can beat them because we've got that guy right there on our side. And that allows everybody to play looser, play freer, play with much more confidence because they know even if they make a mistake, there's Steph Curry back there, and he's going to hit a shot to wipe all of that away.
4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 12. And for the Magic, who have really struggled, it stinks for them. They lose a game where Paolo Banchero scores 41 points and finally had something going offensively as a group. But that's too bad. CJ, you said you watched the Nuggets-Bucks game. Yep. Anything interesting out of that?
Listen, it's just clear that, hey, those are good. They're not, whatever adjective you want to use for those two teams.
They're good.
Throw the Grizzlies in there with them. Throw the Knicks in there with them. And you use that adjective. But there's a difference between whatever those teams are and the Thunder, the Cavs, and the Celtics right now. I thought Giannis played really, really well. Just somebody who, with Aaron Gordon and Jokic out there on the court, dominant on the glass. I think he had 15, maybe over 15 rebounds in the game. And Giannis was hitting jump shots also, which, listen, he is a freak athlete. And unlike Steph, when that athleticism leaves him, I'm not sure what it's going to look like. But if he has started to incorporate outside shots into his game, and if he can hit those at a decent clip, he's going to extend his career. He had a couple of really good mid-range pull-ups that he hit well, and then he had a couple of threes that he knocked down. So if he can do that, his career is going to get a bit extended. I'm not sure if this Bucks team has enough to get by either of the top two teams in that conference. I would love to see the Bucks and the Knicks play because I think there's some similarities there, and just seeing the Knicks try and push Giannis around would be fun for me to watch. But yeah, that's what I thought about them. And then for the Nuggets, and really for both teams, shooting's at a premium in this league. It always has been, it always will be. If they could put shooters around Jokic, people who could just step into a shot, the Caldwell Popes of the world, right? If they were allowed to keep those types of players on the Nuggets, they'd be in a much, much better shape than what they're in right now.
Did you see KCP's stat line last night?
What did he do?
0 for.
0 for what?
What did he end up with? Just 0 for 3.
Okay.
But 0 points. He just hasn't been the scorer. In the Magic's scoring woes, KCP has not been the answer that was anticipated.
Just need somebody to shoot it. I'd be willing to bet you whatever shots he's getting right now ain't near as good as the shots he was getting with the Nuggets because of what Jokic is. So they just need enjoy Christian Brown as much as the next person, not a shooter. Love what Russell Westbrook does for them off of the bench, not a shooter. And that allows you to sink in on what Jokic is trying to do down there. And even when he finds somebody wide the hell open, they're going to miss the shot. Like that's just tough on them and tough for them.
9 of 34.
So what?
9 of 34 from 3 last night.
Oh, were they that bad?
Yeah.
I was watching the game. I wasn't looking at stats, baby. I was like, they're not
you
a good 3-point.
You just felt it, and now I'll confirm it.
Like, stats are great. I enjoy stats as much as everybody else does, but you should be able to watch these games and say, you know what? This is what's wrong with that team. And I didn't need to look at the stats to know, the Nuggets can't shoot. Like, it's clear. They were getting wide. What my man say for the Lakers? Booty butt naked open.
Booty butt naked open.
Booty butt naked open shots at the rim.
Gotta bring that
and they were just not hitting them.
Into the lexicon more.
Booty butt naked open.
Booty butt naked open.
Next highlight you do. Throw a booty butt naked open in there.
I mean, just add that.
Add that.
I keep a running list of potentials. Booty butt naked open. Yeah, Michael Porter Jr. 2 of 11. Aaron Gordon 1 of 6. Jokic 1 of 2. Murray 2 of 5. Christian Brown 0 of 2. Russell Westbrook 1 of 4. Not great.
And you don't want Westbrook and you don't want Gordon taking threes.
You don't want to rely on them as your three-point shooters. But like you said, 2 good teams playing last night. We get 2 very good teams playing tonight at FedEx Forum, and we are going to dive into all things Memphis Grizzlies, New York Knicks, and we've got double Grizzlies games to get into as it's Grizzlies Knicks tonight, Grizzlies Spurs tomorrow. Lang Whitaker is going to join us in studio. We'll get into the Grizz with him when we come back.
We touched on this earlier, the panel here, about what really has been the mainstay of the Grizzlies, and that's Jaren Jackson Jr. Tripp has just been awesome.
He's posting guys up. He's stronger than he's ever been. He's physical, and he's scoring all type of ways.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Our fans have a huge impact on our ability to play to the level that we're striving for.
Drop off, Durant. Oh! Well, you wanted home crowd involvement.
I love those moments where you see our guys engaging in the fans, and the fans just get pumped up.
They are standing in FedEx Forum.
I would hate to be on the other side with the opposition when FedEx Forum's rolling. That's such an unbelievable relationship that our group has with our fans.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
There's no substitute for experience, the knowledge gained from having been there before, and the passion to share what you know to make everyone around you better. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy.
Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item, whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
What teams do you think, other than Chiefs and Eagles, are going to be teams to reckon with next season?
I think the Ravens, the 49ers, the Bills, the Lions.
I think the Falcons are going to be good next year.
Well, y'all had like 4 straight losing record seasons. So.
Yeah, the question is, like, can you just get like 2 guys on defense? Like they scored 38 against the friggin' Panthers and lost the last week of the season. Like, you got to get some stops.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Welcome back. We were talking during the break. I did want to make sure we don't let this episode go out without a shout out. Last day of Black History Month, February 28th. Don't get the extra day, CJ, for February 29th this year.
Not this year.
And I'm very sorry. But come Monday, just you guys wait. Come Monday.
Why?
It's Women's Month.
It's always
Women's Month is here. Oh, it's not always Women's Month, but you want to know what I watched yesterday to get me in the mood?
Showgirls.
Which one?
I wish.
Which one of her stories did you watch?
I watched a show that made a Her Story or a Shiro joke. Oh. That new Running Point show, executive produced by Jeannie Buss, Han.
Yeah.
Why can't I think of? Oh my gosh, why am I blanking on one
Kate
of my
Hudson.
Kate Hudson, Goldie Hawn and Kurt.
I was trying to think of the
Russell
woman who wrote it from The Office.
Mindy Kaling.
Yeah.
Yes, but it's Running Point, and it's about a woman who takes over it's a family business, a la the Buss family,
Lakers.
and Kate Hudson's character takes over as the president of the team.
Yeah.
And I'm just telling you, no spoilers.
It's bad.
It's actually it's not a great show, but it's a good show, and it has good bones. Like, I laughed many times. I'm not sure that all men are going to love it.
What about sports fans?
That's what I'm curious for.
Yeah.
I found it fun. I found it a fun enough watch to come back to it. We're 3 episodes in. They sponsor the jerseys. They get, like, this is a small spoiler, but it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of it. Sephora becomes their team like title sponsor, and I think it's so funny. Like, I'm ready to be a girl boss
Didn't the Lakers
after
used to have
watching Running
Bumble
Point.
or somebody like as their sponsor?
Did
a couple
they?
Years ago, yeah.
Okay, well that's funny too.
But they got sued. The show got sued last week by Pepperdine because they're the Waves.
Yeah.
And on the show, the team is
They're
called
the Waves, the
and
Los
they're
Angeles
based in
Waves.
California, and so Pepperdine's like, they're just us. Like, this, you're just stealing our IP.
That's funny.
So they just got sued. I mean, look, Mindy Kaling's funny. She knows her way around the
Yeah.
joke. She's a great writer. She's won Emmys and stuff. So like, I assume it's funny. I think that it's just really hard to do a sports. I mean, look, we're biased also because we work in sports.
Yes.
We're around it all the time. So it's hard for us to like, we have a different
Yes.
scale to judge things. I'm wearing a shirt from a movie about basketball, right?
Right.
Like, so.
Did you feel comfortable wearing that today?
Yeah.
Okay.
RIP. It's Coach Dale. We're RIP Coach Dale.
Okay.
You know, there's some funny business.
We just aren't sure.
That's fine.
I'm just taking a pause. Just like, you never know. You know,
Gene Hackman
RIP'd
died. I don't know if you
NBA
heard.
Centel yesterday.
It's back,
and
though.
then it's back.
Yeah.
I RIP'd, and it's always rest in peace. I hate when people die, but there might be some details in that story that we're still unclear of.
I'm just sad that we lost Coach Dale.
Okay. Well, Coach Dale, gone but never forgotten.
Coach Dale may be involved in this.
We don't know that.
I said maybe.
We have no clue.
Maybe.
There's suspicious activity.
He's no longer here.
He's no longer here.
And
that's all that matters.
might be by his own
But no, I
hands,
get it.
maybe.
You're right.
Could
When
be.
it comes to the portrayal of sports, and like sports fans are the worst or the harshest critics on sports-related content. One of the funny things, like their developmental team is the Long Beach Raccoons. And like, she's clearly smarter than her brothers and she actually cares about basketball. I will say, this is going to sound, I don't know, a little like, meh. I was really inspired. I was really inspired watching it. Like I woke up and I was like, you know, I
want to
love
run
that.
an NBA team.
Yeah, kind of. But like really what it comes down to is I see this show, and I can imagine someone younger seeing this show, and it puts a woman in a leadership position where, of course, she's going to be doubted, and all of the men, and one of the players is going to hit on her, and there's some weird tension, sexual tension maybe with the coach, and her brothers are trying to already throw her out.
Jeannie Buss did date the coach of the Lakers.
Exactly.
Right,
So there's all these through lines, but at the end of the day, like she's really smart, and she's clever, and she comes back around, and she like walks into those meetings, and she kicks butt. And there's something very fun about watching that. We don't get a lot of those
So you're
stories.
saying like a young female Nepo baby might watch this show and think, my dad owns an NBA team. I can run an NBA team.
They make many Nepo baby jokes, which is funny.
I saw I actually watched speaking of watching things, I watched on Netflix last night the new De Niro show.
How is it?
It's not good.
Oh, no.
It's disappointing. It's him and Jesse
my dad
Plemons.
loved
and,
it.
it's
He
a good
watched it in
cast.
like a week.
Man, there's
Not
a
a week,
scene.
2 days.
There's a scene in the first 15 minutes of it where De Niro gives a speech. I won't spoil it.
Yeah.
He gives a speech on the street to people, and it's supposed to be like an improvised speech that unites people.
Mm-hmm.
And you watch it, you're like, okay, so like this is the turning point.
Yeah.
Like this speech, like I mean, whew. I just finished the first season of Night Agent on Netflix.
Watching it at 2 times speed.
I had to watch it at double speed to get through with the dang thing because it was about as poorly written as this De Niro show.
Okay.
I mean, the De Niro show has an incredible cast. Like that's the thing that separates it. Like you watch, it's got friggin' Robert De Niro and all these people, and it seems really good, but it's I don't know.
The cast on this carries it too. Like Jay Ellis is on it, who was Lawrence on Insecure, and it's always fun when he pops up. Brenda Song, who was on Sweet Life of Zack and Cody as London Tipton back in the day. So it's not like a capital A actor cast, but it's a fun cast. What's his name? Drew Tarver. He was on this great HBO comedy called The Other Two that was highly underrated, but he's funny on it. It's written sharply enough where I like enjoy the dialogue, but just by nature, it's going to be a little corny.
Is there any actual basketball played on it? Yeah.
Yeah,
How
which is
that?
always funny.
Is
It's
it
in a
terrible?
small gym.
Is it like on the Fresh Prince when they would play basketball?
It's not that bad,
Yeah.
but it's like they don't show a lot of focus on it. They also mentioned Memphis twice. They're trying to do a trade with Memphis, and they're getting ready for a game against Memphis, which was fun. That's the first other city you hear in the entire show. It's the Los Angeles Waves, and the first thing you hear is like, get Memphis on the phone. Maybe we'll talk to them about this.
It's funny. It would have been funny if they were like, hey, call those idiots in Dallas.
That would be really funny. An immediate callback.
yeah.
But for the Grizzlies, big weekend ahead.
Yeah.
Big night tonight against the New York Knicks. And it's big for every game is big at this point in the year. And as the Grizzlies are back in the 2 seed after the Nuggets lost to the Bucks last night, it again highlights how important this 5-game home stretch is and playing 9 of your next 11 on the home court. But for the Knicks, that's a team that a month ago beat you by 37?
40? Yeah.
We could round up to 40. It felt like a 40-point loss. In the context of it, it's like, oh, God, they just lost by 40. They turned it over 26 times in this game. But it's also against a Knicks team that, like, nationally, the narrative around the Knicks is, are they fraudulent?
Sort of
That's
the
the
same
word
as the
that gets
Grizzlies.
used. It just gets used more because it's the Knicks and people talk about them more in that space. But being 0-7 against the Celtics, the Cavs, and the Nuggets, and to be fair, the Grizzlies have a win over the Celtics, and the Grizzlies have a win over the Nuggets, even though Jokic didn't play in that game, and the win over the Celtics was way back in December. But it was interesting. I was listening to the Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart podcast, and they were talking about it. What?
So I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it was actually very interesting to hear them talk about
Villanova?
This like narrative around the team.
Yeah.
And I thought rather than putting it in the space of like, is this team a fraud? It's more that at the point in the season where they played those teams, like they were not good enough. And they acknowledged that they weren't good enough.
Like
Granted,
last week? They played Boston like last week.
Yes, but it's February 28th and things change so quickly. That was what struck me is like all it takes is a good week and you eventually get a win over a team like that. And I know the Grizzlies aren't, you know, the Celtics, the Cavs, and the Thunder have established themselves as like a coalition of 3 at the top of the NBA standings. But tonight at least gives an opportunity for 2 teams who have been deemed as good to be better than the other good team.
The one thing I would say with the Knicks, and it sort of goes for the Grizzlies too. I mean, the Grizzlies, yes, like you said, they won against Boston in Boston. But the one thing with the Knicks is they're 0-7 against those teams, but it's like by an average of like 25 points.
Yeah, they've been blown out
every single one of those games. The one last week against Boston was probably the closest one out of all those, and it was still 20 points, 15 points, something like that. So the Knicks are also, I think, 30th in the league against three-point shot. Like there's a bunch of stats where they're just brutal.
I feel like I was gaslit into thinking the Knicks have a really good defense, and it's
well,
only
that's
because
Tom Thibodeau. Yeah, like,
it's Tibbs. It's the fact that against the Grizzlies, like Grizzlies turned it over 26 times, but they're in the bottom half of the league defensively.
But the Grizzlies aren't the first team to roll into New York City and lay a stinker, because that happens. Like teams that go in New York have a night off and then they don't play well. The Grizzlies, I think, but the Knicks, so 30th against the league in three-point shooting, and they're also like just overall defensively, I think they're like between 10 and 15. They're like right in the middle. And with these Tibbs teams, it's always been, all they do is play defense, and he plays the guys, 6 men, he plays 40 minutes a game or whatever, and wears everyone out, blah, blah, blah. I think the Grizzlies, that game in New York, I think you got to figure out a way to just throw it out and come play your game. Like the Knicks are so bad against three-point shooting. The Grizzlies are an awesome three-point shooting team. Like they're going to get shots off. They're going to get shots up. Maybe tonight's the night they start going in against this Knicks team. But to your bigger point, yes, I like this is the game, this game and that Thunder game next week. Mike Wallace and I talked about it on the warm-up show whenever the last game was, Tuesday night. From this homestand, like we want to see the Grizzlies beat good teams. Like this, we know we can beat bad teams. Let's beat some of the better teams in the league, and that starts tonight against the Knicks.
Right, like there's people making jokes, the Phoenix Suns. I saw somebody say Adam Silver doesn't need to expand the NBA to Mexico City because the Suns already relocated to Cabo 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like, you saw a Suns team that was desperate for a win, but at the end of the day, they still lost. And the narrative around the Suns is, wow, they stink. They're probably going to miss the play-in tournament at this rate. And what does that mean? And we're already talking about where Kevin Durant is going to find himself traded in the offseason. And so you're happy that the Grizzlies won. You don't want to lose that game, but it doesn't move the long-term confidence meter, or does it? I guess
don't think it does. I mean, especially because like that Suns game was so close.
I actually think it does from a sense of what we saw. Like at the end of that game, a team that everything's going wrong throughout the night, and they're still able to.
But also the Suns had like the game of the year for them.
Yes.
Like they shot 50% from 50+% from the floor,
Right.
40+ on
But
threes.
every team is going to have a good game of the year.
Bol went
you
crazy.
could face the Wizards on their best game of the year at some point, and
But
good
you won.
teams still find
That's
a way to
the thing.
win.
Yeah, that's the thing for me. The Grizzlies, like they faced. Somebody said the Grizzlies survived like the bowl game for the Suns. Like they had
Bol stock, thanks to the Memphis Grizzlies, has risen.
But Grayson Allen went crazy too
yeah.
that night. Grayson was hitting
Royce
all those threes.
O'Neal was hitting threes.
Everybody was going crazy for the Suns, and the Grizzlies hung around. And Ja was not good for those first three quarters. Could not get shots to go. Was 0 for 10 on threes at some point, 0 for 8. And then all of a sudden, right when you need him, 12 shows up. And like those, Jaren fouls out, and Ja carries you the rest of the way. Jalen Wells scores 7 points in overtime. Like I was so impressed with the way the Grizzlies hung around. And then at the very end, we're like, all right, this is our last shot. And they did it. Like they flipped the switch and did it. Like that to me is a sign of this team having the ability to do things like previous teams have not had that ability to do. And the confidence, like, to hang in there and just be like, look, we're going to figure this out. Like other teams, you could clearly have packed this thing up. Other NBA teams would have said, like, this is not our night. This is their night. Let's just rest. We got more games coming up. And the Grizzlies just hung in there and kept fighting and figured it out. That to me was so impressive.
It's not like you need a reminder of who Ja Morant is and what he's capable of being, but it's also certainly nice to see. And it was fun. Like, I was talking straight out of the game. There's nothing more fun for this team than that. Like being able to have the call 12 moment, watching him take over a game, the stupid athletic factor, the three that he takes is a hard shot. The game tire is level difficulty 1,000. And then going into overtime even, what he's capable of doing, the pass to Jalen Wells, both passes to Jalen Wells for the three, for the dunk. But it all comes back to Ja. And it was, you and I were standing behind.
That's what I was thinking about,
as we were watching this. And like you were reflecting on a moment from earlier in the day at media availability where you saw just one of those crazy, wow, Ja Morant is one of the most athletic people in the world moments.
He jumped over a fence.
Yeah.
Like just took one step and went boing, jumped over like one of the separating fences on his way to the locker room. The thing with Ja, I was thinking about this yesterday, was like, I'm going to compare him to a supermodel.
Okay.
I think supermodels are people who have won the lottery of life.
Okay.
Right? Like, there's no way to control who is good looking and who's not good looking, right?
Sure.
You're just born with whatever
What
the
you
right
got.
DNA sequence is if you're a
there's
supermodel.
incredible surgery these days, but yes.
Sure, but for the most part, like, there's certain people who are born with
Yes.
whatever, and other people are not born with that. And there's nothing you can do about it, right? Like even supermodels, not necessarily have like both beautiful parents, right? It's just sometimes you're born.
happens.
Yeah. I think like Ja is sort of in the same world. I think athletes, there's some people, and maybe not even athletes, just humans. There's some people who are just born with this ability to flourish in ways the rest of us can't do it. And Ja has this ability when he is put on the spot, when the team needs a bucket, even if he's not having the best game. We've seen it. We've seen it 100 times now, or not 100. We've seen it a dozen times. Like, Ja can do stuff nobody else in the league can do. Like, there's very few people who can just take over like that when you need them to take over like that. And I think Ja is one of those people who was just born with something that the rest of us aren't born with,
When Lady Gaga said, "Baby, I was born this way," John Morant's "Baby, I was born this way" was being a closer in the NBA.
Maybe so.
I think so.
But I think it's
I
like
think
being,
you're onto
it's like being a
something.
supermodel. It's like there's some people, Noah Lyles, like he's just got this ability to, despite all the other stuff happening, hey, I'm going to win 100 at the Olympics. I think Ja is kind of the same way.
And of course, there's the training and the execution
Yeah, all
reps and
that
everything
stuff.
along the way. But there is just a natural tendency
there's something,
to be
there's
better
a level
than
that
others.
he has that nobody else has.
Everybody's brought up Sean Coleman, who
Yeah,
stats
the
always.
goat.
My husband sent me this. He
Sean's
goes,
your husband.
he goes, no, Sean is not my husband. Chris is my husband. But Chris sent me the Sean Coleman tweet and was like, I don't know who this came for, but for what it's worth, I go, it came from Sean Coleman. It's accurate. You can always trust Sean Coleman's stats. But since per shot data began in the 96-97 season, 200 NBA players have attempted more than 10 career shots to either tie or take a lead with 2 or less seconds left in fourth or overtime period of a game. Only 1 of 200 is shooting at least 50% on such shots, and that is Ja Morant, which speaks to your larger point.
Yeah.
It's just in him. Now, I hope, I pray, I want to see it for 4 quarters tonight against the Knicks.
Yeah.
And if you look back on that first game against the Knicks, it was turnover hell for the Grizzlies. And Desmond Bane had a ton of turnovers, but so did Ja. And that was one of the worst Ja vibe games of the year, I would say.
Everybody had bad vibes.
Everybody
Dez had a
bad
bunch of those
vibes.
plays where he turns into Edward Scissorhands, where he comes up and just kind of like the ball just flies out.
It did
in
strike
some
me how
direction.
much better. And that's where, like, to go back to that Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson podcast, when they were saying, like, at that time on the court, we were not the better team. That night at Madison Square Garden, the Grizzlies were not the better team, period. Desmond Bane has become infinitely, and I know that's a big word, but truly, from that game to now, the trustworthiness of him not turning the ball over, you've seen a growth in comfort. If that was the plan, I do think there has to be some credit there of getting the reps and trusting that he would eventually get to that point. I always want the ball in John Morant's hands leading the offense, but you have seen an improved ability from Desmond Bane since the first go-around to now.
He's also questionable tonight with left groin soreness.
Big injury report. This game swings on a lot of different pendulums. Bane's questionable for the Grizzlies, but then for the Knicks, they could get Mitchell Robinson back tonight, which
they
would
could
be
also miss Cat.
They could miss Cat. They could miss Josh Hart. Both of which Cat's the big difference maker in my opinion.
Then the other
going
guy
into
started
this.
at center the other night and is out for 8 weeks now. Ariel, somebody started at center for the Knicks the last game they played and got hurt. It was his first start for the Knicks, and now he's out for like 2
the
months.
Ariel Hukaporti.
Yeah.
Hukaporti.
I don't know who he is. So he's out. So
Yes.
I don't know who plays center for them. If Mitchell Robinson's supposed to come back on this road trip, but they also play at Miami
It'd be
after
precious,
this.
wouldn't
And there
it?
was going to be one of these games, maybe, I guess. I don't know. Somebody's going to play.
Big former Tiger
If Cat's
revenge
out,
game.
if he's out. So, yeah, there's a lot of injury stuff. To your original question about Dez and all that, I think tonight's a good, like we've seen all season, Taylor Jenkins has talked about going to like 10, 11-man rotations, trying to like keep everybody fresh as much as he can and using that as a sort of a tool of this offense to wear down the other teams. I think you kind of saw that against Phoenix. At the end of that game, man, the Suns were exhausted. By the end of that game, the Grizzlies were exhausted too, though, to be fair, because Jaren fouls out everybody else. But I think this Knicks team is probably the best conditioned team in the league because those guys play 40 minutes every single game. And so you're going up against maybe the deepest team in the league, the Grizzlies, against a team that doesn't use the bench but is in
Gets no
great
breaks.
shape. So, like, I don't know if that works to our advantage tonight, having this deep bench, being able to play that. The Knicks also don't want to play at pace, don't want to play up and down. So, if I'm the Grizzlies, I think you're going to have to beat them in the half court, which is something we've seen kind of comes and goes with this team. Usually, like, it's funny. It seems like the Grizzlies in the first half of these games, they're like the best first quarter scoring team. Feels like teams kind of start to figure it out as the game goes along. And then in the third quarter, the Grizzlies kind of reach that point where other teams throw a zone at them or whatever. Like we saw it the other night where they went zone on that one play and John like looked at Vince Williams
like,
like,
where the
go.
frustrations boiled over the most.
There's times where you see that too. So I think the Grizzlies are going to have to kind of win this game tonight in the half court, which it'll be interesting to see them try to do that against a good Knicks. That's where the Knicks are best, like playing half court defense.
So Grizzlies Knicks is definitely the star of the weekend for the Grizzlies, and then you get Grizzlies Spurs, and the Grizzlies have beaten the Spurs in the first 3 games. It is hard to beat a team 4 times in one season. However, the vibes for the Spurs have plummeted with Victor Wembanyama out for the year, and any hope of chasing a spot in the play-in tournament seems to have dissipated. Now it's almost like, oh dear God, please don't let the Spurs some way, somehow end up with Cooper Flagg in this upcoming draft, because that would just set the world ablaze. But I wanted to get your take as someone who's been around the league for a long time. We've also learned that Greg Popovich won't rejoin the team for this season. He had a stroke. He has been away from the team for months now. There was some question of would he be able to make his way back. He's not for this season. Future kind of unclear for the long term. But someone asked me this week, do you feel as if the culture set by Greg Popovich is so strong at this point that there won't be a drop-off whenever the day comes? And there was always going to be a day someday where Greg Popovich is not the head coach of the Spurs, and that's not the case at the moment. But, you know, coming back from a stroke is hard, and you can learn a lot going through a medical situation, and you have no idea where this is going to turn out. But as it pertains to setting up this Victor Wembanyama era, if Pop is not there to be alongside him in the early years, does that waver your confidence at all?
No.
Me neither.
For a couple of reasons. Number one, because Pop built this thing alongside R.C. Buford, who's still there. Their GM, president, whatever he is. Like, you know, Pop and R.C. have kind of been arm in arm this whole time, and R.C. Buford's still there. I'd always heard that when Pop, whenever the day came that he walked away, that Mike Budenholzer was going to be like the next guy there because Bud was his assistant forever, like back in the 2000s when they won all those titles. Bud goes off to Atlanta, Milwaukee, now Phoenix, you know, has had a couple stops. And I think, like, now there's about 8, Taylor Jenkins, there's about 8 coaches who worked under Pop all around the league, Charles Lee and Charlotte, all these different guys who've had experience with Pop. So there's other guys who've, like, been part of that tree. We were looking at that Suns coaching staff the other night. There was a whole bunch of guys who had ties to here or had ties to Taylor Jenkins or had ties to Budenholzer, and I was like, this is all a Pop.
It's all Pop.
Yeah. It's all around the league now. So there's all these different guys. The other thing that makes me confident about the culture in San Antonio continuing is, let's go back to Netflix. I've been watching the Court of Gold thing. Those interviews with Wemby on there are incredible. Like, he is so thoughtful and, like, calm, and he's like, look, here's why I play the way I play. Here's the way I was brought up, blah, blah, blah. You're like, all right, yeah, like, this is just such a good fit for any franchise, but like in San Antonio specifically, like he just seems like the perfect guy for that system, for that city, for that franchise.
Barring, you can never predict the future, and no one could have predicted that he would have a DVT in his shoulder and have to miss the end of his second season in the NBA. So, like, taking potential injury out, it just feels like there's no better star to take over that specific franchise because he is so level-headed. He is so cerebral with it. It is insane to listen to Victor Wembanyama talk. Like, oftentimes, just French culture sometimes flexes in a space of egotistical or arrogant. Like, there's a reputation for a reason. But when he speaks, it's not that. There's a humbleness to it that somehow evens out into this really cool experience where you're like, wow, speaking of genetic lotteries, we don't make Victor Wembanyama's much in this world, and perhaps it's in a universe. I don't know if any planet makes a Victor Wembanyama, but the fact that he has those physical gifts matched with what seems to be a very leveled mental approach to life, to the game, to everything in between.
I also think, like, if you watch that, just looking at like other NBA teams around the league that have a lot of young guys, right? Charlotte, Portland, all these teams, like they're rebuilding. They're trying to figure out where they are. And the Spurs, look at the veterans the Spurs went out and got to put around Wemby. Chris Paul, Harrison Barnes, like guys who are just like great dudes.
Well,
like,
that's where what the Pistons are doing right now I find so interesting, because they're also a team that has so many young guys. When you look at the young core of the Pistons.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd include Malik Beasley on that list of like solid.
But right now, yes,
he's been good,
correct. But he's been good for
yeah.
them. And like Tim Hardaway Jr. has been good for them. Just the fact that they exist. The Spurs do it to the nth degree. But I do think in play of what's happening with the Pistons is it's not like it's just a bunch of young guys out there.
They're a step ahead of where the Spurs are too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because they were terrible last year, and now all those guys are like healthy and good.
And Cunningham has reached.
Yeah, and he's healthy.
Top 10
He's
status,
been great.
right.
Yeah, and now, but when Ivy comes back, that gives them another thing. But the Spurs, I think like that's the RC Buford part of it. That's the Pop part of it, is finding those veteran guys who are gonna like. Yes, they're helpful on the basketball court, but they're probably more helpful off the court. The other star to me of that Court of Gold thing is Nick Batum. Like, if you watch that thing, like I've never really heard him talk that much. There's one of those games where he cusses everyone out at halftime in the locker room. They have a camera in the locker room, and he rips in. I think it's against Canada. He rips into everybody about the way they were playing, and it's not personal, but it's pretty forceful. And he's like, guys, like you're not passing the ball. We're making one pass shot. This is not the way we know how to play. And I was like, yes. I was watching. I was like, I don't care who wins this game, but like that's the guy I want in my locker room.
And you're also like, I know who wins this game.
Yeah, but I was like, this is awesome. Like that's the kind of stuff you love to see. So anyway, I think the Spurs are doing a great job building this thing. The thing that right before I walked in here, I saw like there was the Athletic story yesterday about Luka and like more, Dallas concerns, whatever.
Luka.
I missed the one little thing that they apparently called the Timberwolves and offered. They asked about Anthony Edwards, and the Timberwolves said no.
Yes.
And I was like, wait, what? Like, if you're the Timberwolves, you would say no?
Committed to their star. I mean, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But I think then you are getting into the.
He's only 2 years older than Anthony Edwards.
Star, right?
Like, and I don't know.
Yeah, I was surprised by that. That came out when it happened. It was just a casual little aside to.
It's kind of buried in the Athletic story yesterday.
It's easy for anything extra to get buried in that, because the headliner will and forever be the Mavs traded Luka Doncic.
I saw somebody say they were
NBA.
determined to trade him for somebody named Anthony.
Yeah, they got the other one. Yeah. Lang, we'll see you at the game tonight. The warm-up show coming up on Grind City Media. Tip time is 7 o'clock. Grizzlies' next warm-up show at 6. Lang Whitaker and Mike Wallace will be there. I'll be there too. We will take a quick break. Still ahead on today's show, we have our Sonic Mailbag question of the week. You asked, greatest two-hit wonder of all time. We'll get into that, plus some news and notes from the NFL Combine when we come back.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GBWR.
If you go to a hustle game, you're going to see a very fast-paced game. A lot of action, both offensively, defensively.
Nice rejection right there.
In a great environment at the Landers Center. You could bring family there, kids are running around.
Down the lane and one for Zion Poland.
And then you're going to see a lot of talented basketball players competing at a high level.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance, to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard, bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzlies stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
They say main event Jey Uso was going to open the show. So they said they're starting to hear rumbles around the plaza level of Jey Uso. They're getting the crowd together to build up the main event Jey Uso entrance. Hey,
See, I can do it.
Hey, 15,000 people together, yeeting in unison, 5-star. They are yeeting together.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel. We got Southern Heritage Classic news. Mike, Tennessee State out. Where do you think the Classic goes from here? Is this a thing that sort of dooms this Classic, Southern Heritage Classic?
I don't ever bet against Fred Jones. I don't count Fred Jones out. You have to have the event. You have to continue to have the weekend, and a football game has to be part of it.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Welcome back on this fun Friday. Be sure to hit that like button if you haven't on YouTube. Getting into a couple NFL Combine stories from this week, the biggest of which yesterday was Travis Hunter. And if you saw the crowds around Travis Hunter versus the crowds around Elijah Huzzy, the nickelback out of North Carolina, who was doing his media availability at the same time. This is Travis Hunter's crowd. Elijah's crowd was a party of one. I swear to God, if he turns out to have a career, like this would be his villain origin story.
Isn't that the Dame Lillard origin?
That's what made me think of it.
Yeah.
Like there's always someone who ends up being off to the side where no one's talking to them at a media availability at a combine, and then they end up carving out a very nice career for themselves. The newsy note out of Travis Hunter's availability is that Travis Hunter wants to play both ways in the NFL. He wants to play offense, he wants to play defense. He was also asked if he could potentially return punts and kicks, in which case he said, I already got 2 jobs. Stop trying to give me a third. Are you surprised that he wants to keep it open for both?
No, because that's the whole point of having somebody like that on the roster, somebody who can play on both sides of the ball. And he did it at the highest level and was really successful doing it. If Travis Hunter hadn't transferred from Jackson State and he was talking like this, I say, I'm not sure. It's one thing to do it against SWAC competition. I wish I could have seen him do it against somebody better, but he did it in the SWAC. And then he went to the Big 12 and he was still as dominant, right? Like there's a reason why he won the Heisman. There's a reason why, correct me if I'm mistaken, he was a first-team All-American wide receiver and cornerback. Because he's good enough to do it. So, yeah, if I was him, I'd say, let me play on both sides of the ball. Now, eventually the snap count thing will take a toll. So you'll have to have offensive packages for him and defensive packages for him. But on every single third down on the defensive side of the ball, he should be on the field. And hell, on every single third down on the offensive side of the ball, he should probably be on the field. And then you figure out what to do and how to give him breaks and spell him as you see fit during a game. But no, that doesn't surprise me at all. He should absolutely be saying to himself and to everybody who's listening, I'm good enough to play on both sides of the ball and be impactful as well.
You go back and watch his tape and you're just like, this is one of the greatest football players we've watched. And this is why it never made sense to me in all of the Heisman debates, and you can certainly have a debate, and Ashton Jeanty had a tremendous season. We don't have to rehash that. But for the people who would say, well, Travis Hunter shouldn't get it just because he plays both ways. He's not even elite at either way. 1, yes, he was. And 2, he was elite at both sides of the ball, which puts him in the rarest of air. And the fact that we're even tantalizing the conversation of him having the ability to do it in the NFL speaks to how special of a player he is. We did hear from Brian Callahan with the Titans, and I know we weren't able to catch up with Teresa Walker this week, but as we still wait to see what the Titans will ultimately do with the draft. But Coach Callahan was talking about the uniqueness of Travis Hunter, and his take on it was that he would probably start at corner, and then you just find a way to inject him into the offense where you can in those special packages, like you said. And then he's like this not so secret weapon that you throw out and, oh, it's Travis Hunter time. I think that'd be wildly exciting to watch.
Absolutely. We see teams do this, and forward-thinking coaches do this with players. I'm not saying that he is going to have the same type of impact or that he's the same player, because stylistically they're just different. But Taysom Hill is somebody like that. Whereas, okay, Taysom Hill is going to play on all of the special teams, and we're going to have offensive packages with him as well. And when he comes in on that punt coverage team, oh boy, you better be on the lookout, because it might be a fake coming in. You know, Deebo Samuels has a high level of versatility, and it makes their teams, both of them, so much better because it makes them so much more dynamic. I'm not saying Travis Hunter, plays special teams and is on punt coverage. No, I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is having a dynamic player, a truly versatile player, has tremendous value in this league. You, as the coach, as the front office, have to find a way to utilize that player in his most effective ways. So if you're going to say, I would push back on that you start him at cornerback and then try and work him in there. He comes in on both teams, and you figure out, depending on game flow, how best you're going to use him. He's a playmaker. He's a baller. Which game was that when he got the fumble in the end zone? Right. You know, that's somebody who lowers his helmet and lowers his shoulder pads and makes hits. That's somebody who can go out there and chase the ball down, a true ball hawk. That's somebody who gets deflections, somebody who may be capable of shutting down a portion of the field when you use him correctly. Oh, and by the way, that's somebody who is absolutely fast enough to take a top off of a defense, has good enough hands to make big-time catches in traffic, and runs decent enough routes to be open consistently. So you absolutely want to use him on the offensive end as well. I'm not saying that you're going to play him like you would a legit wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2 or a legit defensive back 1, defensive back 2. I'm not saying that that's how you're going to play him, because you're going to try and use him as both. But you got to have him on the field for a majority of your snaps on offense and defense if you're drafting him. Otherwise, what are you doing?
The other Travis-related news yesterday, the 10-time Pro Bowl tight end Travis Kelce announced officially he is returning for year 13 in the NFL. He posted an audio clip from his podcast with his brother saying, "I'm not effing leaving. The show goes on." Also promised a full breakdown. I love that the likes of Pop Base reported this news. That's why I specifically sent this screen grab as opposed to Schefter and ESPN and Fox Sports. This is a pop culture story. I had a friend reach out this week. She was just in the chat, actually. Elizabeth Roberts, shout out. She asked me for a project she was doing in business school, who are the top 10 or so rising faces in sports, period, like all sports. And she said specifically, not Travis Kelce. So like when you're thinking about it, everybody knows who Travis Kelce is. Every single one of my non-sports fans knows Travis Kelce is the tight end for the Chiefs. All of them. They're looking for other people who might be on the rise. And I was like, well, there's a quarterback who just beat Travis Kelce. I think Jalen Hurts is a pretty great rising face. You should go look into that. And he's a face. I think it was for brand type things. And I think Jalen Hurts should be with as many brands as physically possible in this universe. All the brands. But I did find it interesting. There was, of course, Pop Base and People Magazine and Us Weekly. And it turns into well, of course, Travis Kelce is returning for his 13th season. Number 13, that's Taylor Swift's favorite number. So why on earth would he miss out on being able to tie into the 13 lore of Taylor Swift? I really didn't think Travis Kelce was going to retire. I didn't think he was going to want to. Sometimes you have to. Sometimes your body can't do it anymore. You get to a point, it's time to say goodbye. But to end on that Super Bowl loss, granted, it is very difficult to end on a Super Bowl win. We saw it with Tom Brady. We don't see it very often, but that was a pretty bad taste in the mouth. You now get one more go at it. And it gives Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce one more season to try to go at it together.
Strahan ended on a Super Bowl win. Ray Lewis ended on a Super Bowl win. John Elway, years of not being able to win the big game and get him out of here is not a good quarterback. Won 2 Super Bowls and then walked away. And I think that's the list that I can think of. And you don't want your last game, if you can help it, to be an ass whooping. No matter
Google
who you are.
NFL players who ended career on Super Bowl win. This is where AI, we can't leave it all to AI. The first one that comes up is Cody Latimer is an NFL player who retired after winning the Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos in 2015.
Okay.
And while yes, factual,
that
would not be my first thought of this exercise. Well, Cody Latimer did it.
Good football player in there. Let's see if it changes it at all.
And there's a lot of good football players who never win a Super Bowl, and Travis Kelce has won 1, 2, 3 of them. So it's not like that's the missing link of his career, but it did just feelings-wise, I never really felt like he was going to retire after this year.
No, and feelings-wise, he probably should.
I agree.
Yeah, he's whatever athleticism he had, and he had a whole bunch of athleticism, all right? Like Travis Kelce is a tight end prototype that you want for now until the end of football time. We'll be talking about dudes coming out of the combine like, oh, you know who he reminds me of? He's got that Travis Kelce prototypical tight end. You know, like Travis Kelce was that type of a player. He doesn't have that. And not only does he not have that, he's not, I don't think he's good anymore. And so now eventually you as the Chiefs are going to have to look around and say, hey, yo, maybe we don't have Travis Kelce on this football field as much, and we just keep him around as a locker room guy, but we don't do that in the NFL because the roster spots are so valuable. So I'm not sure what type of contributions Travis Kelce is going to make in a football season next year, and God forbid in a playoff run next year either. So I would, if I was Chiefs GM, I'd whisper to him like, hey, you know, you can
relax.
You can leave.
You're dating the most famous person in the world. Do you know how many beaches you can rest on?
Do you want to be a Tom Brady and just let a baddie slip, you know?
Don't be a Tom. Also, thanks to Brandon in the chat, Tom Brady did not end on a Super Bowl win. They lost in the NFC Championship game that next year, didn't they?
Was it the championship game,
or was it the divisional?
I feel like it was divisional, and I don't think it was a ass whooping. Was it? It might have been an ass whooping.
Did he throw a pick on his last?
I think he did it to the Titans on his way out of New England. His last pass for a Patriot was an interception. Now I'm not sure. I'll look into it for the Bucs.
It might have just been an incompletion, but alas, it did not end with the drunk Super Bowl victory parade. Hey, I forgot to tell you, congratulations to your Michigan Wolverines. They did have a buzzer beater last night. That was a fun moment in college basketball. Beat Rutgers, so congrats.
Oh, well, that's what we do.
Oh, I know.
We beat.
But I wanted to acknowledge
beat the hell out
it.
of them dudes in New Jersey all the time. The only New Jersey school I fear is New Jersey Institute of Technology. As a Michigan fan, I don't fear Rutgers. Rutgers puts no fear in my heart. That disgusting ass university. I can't stand Rutgers. Rutgers, of all the new members of the Big Ten, the non-Big Ten members of the Big Ten, I'm throwing Penn State in there as well because y'all aren't real. Y'all don't really belong there. Y'all hopped in the 90s. I don't care about you. So Penn State, who else? The USC, Washington, Oregon, UCLA, Nebraska is another one of those. I hate Rutgers the most. Maryland, I cannot stand Rutgers. I wish you, Rutgers people, Rutgers fans, all 12 of you, I wish you and your families and your university all of the worst. May only bad things happen to that damn university. I can't stand Rutgers.
And for the record, it was a wild card game against the Falcons, and it was a loss. Oh, no, I'm sorry. His last regular season loss was to the Falcons. God, this is why you can't research in the middle of a show. His last regular season loss was to the Falcons, which also secured his first losing season in his career.
Was it a blowout?
I don't know. I'd have to continue. We'll get that. We'll get to that answer on the other side. We'll take a quick break. We'll get the official facts of how it all ended. But most importantly, what?
When was his last regular season game? When was it?
I'm going to tell you
2024?
when we come. No, it's 2022.
Okay.
2022 was his last regular season game.
It was.
And it was against the Falcons. They lost 30-17.
And so his last.
And it was to the Cowboys in the wild card.
There we go.
And things have not gone any better for the Cowboys ever since.
31-14 loss. So
there you go.
There you go. There it is.
All right, we'll take a quick break. The best two-hit wonders of all time. When this question was asked in our Sonic Mailbag question of the week, I struggled because we spent a lot of time thinking about one-hit wonders and not enough time thinking about two-hit wonders. So we'll get into some of the greatest in our opinions, plus new music drop today, what we're listening to going into the weekend. Lizzo came back. First single in a long time for Lizzo, and Katy Perry's going to space. We'll explain when we come back.
Can't wait. It's time to get it popping. It's gonna be crazy. The fans are gonna be loud. We need just energy.
We're gonna need, the Forum rocking. We're gonna need, everybody in Memphis to be out there to come to support.
When the fans are good, we're good. Simple as that.
A Bane three, yes sir! Desmond Bane with ice water in his veins.
We'll ride the energy together.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Bane drives.
Oh yeah.
Close. He hits and the Grizzlies have the lead.
Yeah!
Jaren with a knock-in.
Good defense.
Morant attacking, spinning, hanging, and hitting.
Let's go!
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
45-minute video on Tony Allen on YouTube.
I just saw it yesterday.
He managed to dominate the NBA for 14 years, despite missing one of basketball's most important skills. But here's the crazy thing.
Why does that hurt your feelings?
It didn't hurt my feelings.
It's positive.
He at least should have more of my highlights.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Grizz Nation gets set for tip-off 1 hour before every Grizzlies home game with the warm-up show. Get the latest news, notes, and analysis live from courtside at FedEx Forum.
This team is doing everything that Taylor Jenkins and his coaching staff envisioned it could do.
Join me, Lang Whitaker, along with Michael Wallace, Jessica Benson, and other personalities from Grind City Media, Memphis, and around the NBA. 1 hour before every home game, live at Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Now it makes sense.
Now it makes.
We're just catching up on some Boy Meets World drama.
I was like, I didn't know.
It's fun.
I didn't know that's who it was. 4 or 5 videos. I was like, I saw this video 2 weeks ago.
All right. CJ has an apology
to
the people.
About?
We haven't done a Sonic Mailbag question of the week in 2 weeks.
Yeah, you're not supposed to say that, Jessica. It's sponsored. We're going to get in trouble now.
We're not gonna get in trouble.
We're gonna get in trouble now.
No, me and Mr. Sonic, we go.
Okay.
We go way back.
All
Don't worry
right.
about it. I'm gonna get my tater tots. I'm gonna go get a nice little like perfectly iced drink. It's gonna be great.
Now, I didn't tell you, but I have a meeting today with Mike and Shelly.
No, you don't. Shelly?
On a Friday.
On the last day of Black History Month?
2 p.m.
A Friday, last day of Black History Month?
2 p.m.
I know nothing.
And so now, like, this is gonna come up in my meeting.
Nah.
Thank you, Jessica.
Nah.
Gosh.
Today's Sonic mailbag question, which is definitely sponsored, and we definitely do every single week and never forget in the context of this show. So you should always go to grindcitymedia.com and submit your Sonic mailbag questions. But actually, please do, because they're very fun, and I love the thought exercises that you guys have us do. And this one is no exception. We were asked favorite two-hit wonder of all time. Don Robinson asked us, who is your favorite two-hit wonder of all time? Not one-hit wonder, two-hit wonder. And now,
Two-hit wonder.
yeah,
Okay.
I have a few
Okay.
that I was able to come up with. I think most importantly for me is someone who I thought was going to be a star, an absolute star. He's going to take over the world. He's going to take over the pop music space. And then he only gave us two. It's Taio Cruz, Dynamite, and Break Your Heart. We got Dynamite, gonna light it up like it's dynamite, da 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 da, go all night. And then, oh, now I'm gonna break your heart and break it, da 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 da. Ludacris is on it, in a million little pieces. Da 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 da.
You're really bad at lyrics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I have so many songs in my head at all times.
That's why we're going through your phone deleting songs.
We're trying.
So you can focus on
one
lyrics.
brick at a time.
Gosh.
One super freako, super chumbo. Get your freak on. One at a time. I did think of Taio Cruz. And then I also thought of the wonderful band Dream from the early 2000s.
Oh.
He Loves You Not, and This Is Me.
Here's my issue with doing this exercise.
Okay.
If you've got, I know one-hit wonders, right? You only got one of those. But typically, if you've got two, you've got another song that I know and rock with.
Yes.
About another handful, right?
Yes.
So that's what was tough for me. But Dream is a good one. Although I know a bunch of Dream songs for
He
some
loves
reason.
you. He loves you not.
He loves who?
Me.
There
He
you go.
loves me.
There.
He loves you
Brick
not.
by brick, people. She's going to know the lyric to somebody's song one day. One day. Who else?
Other options, Katie Tunstall, Black Horse and a Cherry Tree, and Suddenly I See.
What's
We're
that?
having a very Devil Wears Prada week on this show.
Who's that? Sing the song.
Suddenly I see, this is what I want to be. Suddenly I see.
Okay.
Da-da-da,
I'm unfamiliar.
hell, it means so much to me. And then like, big black horse and a cherry tree.
Why are you looking at me like that when you say big black horse? Come on, man. Just straight eye contact and then the light sort of
I was
leaves your
looking at you
eyes
because
when you
I
say
can't
it.
know the lyrics. It's like, well, my heart burns better than
Now
I
you're
know
not even looking
myself,
at me when
but
you're
I'm
singing Big
gonna let
Black
it do
Horse.
all the talking. Woohoo!
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
Okay, thank you.
Because of the
I knew
woohoo
I could
part.
get to it.
Because of the woohoo part. Okay. That made me uncomfortable. I'm definitely bringing that up with Shelly in my 2 p.m. meeting today. Gosh. What, Jessica?
I was just looking at you because I once again don't know the lyrics appropriately.
You didn't have to like make that.
I did like
strange
them at
look.
one point.
Okay.
I used to be able
It
to
was a
sing
them?
that song. No, just Katie, just
Okay, so it's just
singular.
one.
It's
Okay.
KT.
I didn't.
Tunstall.
I
And I
didn't-
only knew her after they used Suddenly I See in the beginning of Devil Wears Prada.
Got you.
And then I got into that discography, which involved 2 songs that I added to that definitely sit on this beautiful phone of thousands of songs. Suddenly I See is a jam.
Okay. Posner, we were talking about
he has
him.
3.
Does he? What are they?
It's obviously Cooler Than Me.
Cooler Than Me.
Cooler Than Me, I Took a Pill in Ibiza, and Please Don't Go. That was a hit.
Hey, listen.
Baby, please don't
And
go.
that was my issue when doing this was I could
You would
always
find a third.
come up with at least one more song.
Here's one that I really like, and they saved each other. Carly Rae Jepsen, which many would say one-hit wonder with Call Me Maybe, but not because she also had Good Time, which was a song that she did with Owl City. And you could say Owl City is a one-hit wonder with Fireflies, but not because he has, or they have, Good Time with Carly Rae Jepsen.
Okay, so if that's
it's always a good time. I think we use that for like our sorority slideshow on Pref Day.
If that's what we're doing, I'd submit Vanilla Ice then.
Okay.
Ice
I think
Ice
that's fair.
Baby and Ninja Rap. Ninja.
Yep.
I love that. I love that so much. Go, 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 go. Like, that's such a good song.
Would you
Such a
consider
good song.
Cisco with Thong
And
Song
so-
and Incomplete?
But I know.
But you know more Cisco
I-
songs.
Everything on that album is something that I'd rock with. Unleash the Dragon?
Yeah.
All right, there we go.
I think
Tone Loc for me.
That's a good one.
Funky Cold Medina
That's a good
and
one.
Wild Thing. And I can't think of another song that
can't
Tone
either.
Loc has done. And Funky Cold Medina and Wild Thing, exact same beat. He's just saying different things over the beat. Love it though. Really, really good.
Natasha Bedingfield, but I'm not calling her a two-hit wonder.
And so
But
that-
you would say her two hits are Unwritten and Pocket Full of Sunshine. But I also like These Words.
She's got
and
other,
Alibi.
She's got other songs.
Yeah.
Where
And
we
Wild
saw
Horses.
the same list. And it was none
of them hit.
Not a two-hit wonder
None of them
because
hit
I
appropriately.
know the other songs. So yeah,
That's
Tone
why
Loc.
I really came down to Tayo Cruz, who is a legitimate two-hit wonder.
And I feel like I know another song by Cruz.
No,
I
you
just
don't.
can't. I just can't
Hold
think
on.
of it.
Tayo Cruz discography.
I feel like I do. And maybe
She's
because
like
I
a
did
star.
this. I did this.
Oh wait, I know another Tayo Cruz
which one
song,
is it?
Booty Bounce.
Booty Bounce. That's song number 3.
But in terms of actual hits, I can at least give that credit. The two
I
hits
saw-
were Dynamite and Break Your Heart, and it felt like he was going to take off into the abyss.
Saw a list with what's the lady driving in the sad car? Fast Car.
Tracy Chapman
Saw one
is a good
with,
one.
with her Fast
And,
Car and some other song.
Give me one reason to stay here, and I'll
Sure.
turn right back around.
Yeah, that's it.
Give me one reason to stay here.
Okay. Say
Huh?
what, Jacob? Say it again. Type it in the chat.
Ayaz?
Bias? Replay what?
Oh, shorty's like a melody in my
Who is that?
Ayaz.
Oh, I asked. Is there another song that they did?
Solo. Oh, I'm solo. I'm riding
Is
solo.
that not Jason Derulo?
I thought that was Jason Derulo.
I get all of those people confused. I get Cruz,
It appears that's
Derulo, and Ayaz confused.
a different solo.
Oh.
My bad.
Well, wait.
I don't know Ayaz's solo.
I'm unaware then.
Yeah.
Pretty Girls? Is
Oh,
Travis McCoy.
I know Pretty
Oh,
Girls.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't. That's a good one.
They're saying Corin Bailey Ray.
Girl, put your records on.
City High. City High might be one. Because they had, what would you do when your son is at home?
What would be the other Corin Bailey Ray song?
I don't know. And then, so City High had that one and
Like a star.
Just go on smiling. 5'5" with brown eyes. Caramel. So they had 2 songs. So maybe City High. They're also saying Afro Man, Colt 45, and Because I Got High.
Okay. That's a good one.
I feel like
Is
I
there
had
another
that whole
one?
album. No, we'll just stick with those. Reddick in the chat says Kelly Clarkson. I agree.
Shut the hell up.
I agree.
You shut your mouth.
I agree.
Right now. You shut your mouth.
Lennon Lit. Are you familiar with them?
Lennon Lit?
Yeah, is that a song? Is that an act?
Len and Lit.
Lou Bega. What's Lou
Unfamiliar.
Bega's other
I don't
song?
know them. 1, 2.
Okay, so
3, 4, 5,
Mambo
whatever.
number 5. Yes, that's one. I don't know another.
I don't
Lou
know
Bega song.
Angelina.
Are we throwing Cupid in there?
I don't know Sweet Like Cola. I don't know Scatman and Hatman.
Yeah.
Although I like the name of that song. Scatman and Hatman. I didn't know Lou Bega was still making music.
I mean, has he made anything since Mambo number 5?
Scatman and Hatman came out in 2021.
What are we talking about here?
It took me to a Reddit page of Scatman and Hatman. It says he threw every cliche in the book at that Scatman. Auto-tune, finger snaps, emotionally ambiguous piano, all of it.
What is lit? Lit is my own worst enemy. Is no surprise to me. I am my own worst enemy. But I don't know another song that they've done. So yeah. What's
98 Degrees? Did 98 Degrees have 2
98 Degrees
hits?
had like 4 or 5 songs, didn't they?
I do cherish you. Da-da-da-da. And obviously, Give Me One More Night, Uno Noche.
Uno Noche.
That's the best. Also, unknown to many, 98 Degrees did the song True to Your Heart in the Mulan soundtrack, which ran during the credits of Mulan, which is a banger of a Disney song that never gets the appropriate credit.
Oh, okay.
True to your heart, you must be true to your heart.
Oh, they do that one.
And I can da-da-da-da. Yeah, it was, I think it was 98 Degrees and Stevie Wonder.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure because I remember they had a music video that would play on Disney Channel for it.
I missed that music video entirely.
Oh, that was a time. Does LFO have a second song other than Summer Girls?
I think LFO does.
Girls on TV. I don't know any of the other LFO songs.
Girls on.
None of these are hitting.
Okay.
If I can't have you.
What's the line dance? Not the Cupid Shuffle, the other one. Cha-Cha Slide.
There's also Cha-Cha Slide Part 2. DJ Casper.
So DJ Casper is a 2-hit wonder. He's got Cha-Cha Slide and Cha-Cha Slide Part
2. Yeah. He also has a song called Oops Upside Your Head. Social Distance Slide, which came out in 2020. I missed that one. Head Snappin'.
Okay.
Pin Jam Seratus. Gucci Gang. I don't know any more of the DJ Casper.
They're saying Fetty Wap, Trap Queen.
Wait, this is a true story. There was a new Fetty Wap song, and it came up while I was just going through. I thought he was 2. And he also has way more than 2.
Okay.
But I meant to write it down, but I thought I would get made fun of for liking a Fetty Wap song in 2025.
No, listen, Fetty Wap still got bangers.
Let's see what it was, because it came
What's
through.
the song?
Maybe it didn't.
DJ Unk, 2-Step and Walk It Out.
Oh, that's a good one.
I'm not sure if DJ Unk had something else.
That's a good one.
Dwayne Bowe in the chat. Chubby Checker.
How do I get it up?
The Twist and Let's Twist Again.
Let's twist again like we did last summer. I'm so grateful that this show can span from Fetty Wap to Chubby Checker. Like, that's what the music industry was made for, was to make some connection between those two. I think that's it. All right, let's get into some new music news and notes. I got to the Fetty Wap song coming out of the Lizzo song that dropped this morning. Lizzo's first single in nearly 2 years after the various drama points of Lizzo's last couple of years. Yes.
Just want to make sure I'm clear. She was just mean to people.
I think so.
Okay.
And again, just like with the Blake Lively situation, that is not over by any means. It's not illegal to be mean to people.
Okay. But you can't.
You can't be abusive to people.
And you kind of can't make being nice your shtick if you're going to be mean.
It's difficult to make being nice. Just ask Ellen DeGeneres what happens when being nice is your shtick, and then you find out that you weren't very nice to people. So I think that's kind of the Lizzo thing. Although it was a sexual harassment lawsuit. But again, nothing has
something
been
about making people go
feel uncomfortable
to strip clubs and then being
in other
uncomfortable
countries and feeling
strip
uncomfortable
clubs,
and all that. This is not working today.
Yeah,
Anyway, just speak loudly.
You've got 4 minutes.
Sing out, CJ.
Oh, I'm a quiet person.
Did you listen to the new Lizzo song?
I didn't. What is it?
Okay, it's called Love in Real Life, and it's like a little rock and roll bop. It's giving like 80s Cher and Tina Turner.
Okay.
That vibe.
Upbeat?
Yes.
Roll the windows down?
It's a little Disney-ified.
Okay.
That's how it hit me. It just felt a little contrived, but not bad. Like, it has enough of a beat. I'll go back and listen to it. I added it to my 2025 playlist, and there's a fun little music video that's with it too. And it feels like the music video ends in a way and the song ends in a way that makes me believe it will all be linked. Like that song is meant to go into the next song immediately, and perhaps there's some storytelling elements that are going to occur. But I like Lizzo music. I said it once, I'll say it again. That Lizzo show I saw here at FedEx Forum was one of the most fun live shows I've seen in a long time, and people loved it. So if she can beat the bad 2-year PR hit and remake, she doesn't have to remake Being a Nice Person, but kind of like retool herself. We have seen so many artists and that's why like Cher and Tina Turner came to mind, because those eras for them was like a reinvention, one of the many reinventions of the span of their careers, and it feels like Lizzo might be trying that side of things. Like, let me look so different and do something different than you've heard me do before. But it's not. It still has pop at its
now
core.
it makes sense why Lizzo was posing in just her draws on the internet the other week. It was like, oh, okay, Lizzo must. I thought, oh,
I
Lizzo
also
must
think
got
she
something
wants to
coming
show
on.
off.
Okay,
she's looking good.
All right.
She looked good before. She's a beautiful woman. She's got a beautiful face. Like, she's got a beautiful look. She's got a beautiful shtick. That's why it was so disappointing. She was like such a beautiful soul inside and out. And then you hear all that stuff, you're like, oh, that's a little tough.
But my point was she hadn't been doing that. Like Lizzo had gone, like faded from.
Oh yeah, she went out. And then she came
consciousness.
back for a hot second. If you remember, like last spring, she posted something that got
like,
torn down.
She posted her weight loss. That was,
Okay.
If I remember correctly, it was like her, was it, I think it was a picture of her and she had just lost some weight and it was noticeable. But that was different than what this was.
Yeah,
this
is
was her,
different.
This was her just in her drawers with her ass out.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, Lizzo must be coming down the pipeline with something. So good
Well,
to know
the
it's a
something
song.
is here.
Is it better than Fat, Juicy, and Wet?
Yes.
Okay. That's my barometer right now.
Me too.
Is it better than Fat, Juicy,
I think that's
and
a
Wet?
great way to put
Okay.
it. It is
All right.
definitively better than Fat, Juicy,
I'll give it a listen.
and Wet. Also better than Fat, Juicy, and Wet. I've been listening to the new Tate McRae album. I didn't know really who Tate McRae was. She's a young pop star, and I kept seeing all these Britney Spears comparisons, like, oh, Tate McRae is the closest thing we have to the next Britney Spears. And then I actually listened. She was on Las Culturistas, which is the Bo and Yang podcast that he does, and Tate McRae was a guest, and it was an interesting conversation because she essentially said, like, you know, I appreciate the Britney Spears comparisons, but I was nothing when Britney Spears was a thing. Like, I wasn't born. I was -0. I wasn't a concept. So it's difficult to be put in a position where you're like chasing this thing of the past when you didn't even really know what that thing of the past was. Whereas she said her biggest inspiration has been Ariana Grande. And Tate McRae, I kind of thought she was just there for the hot dance moves and like to look hot. But she's a really good songwriter. She's got some good stuff. Other than me thinking that she was saying bread on my hands and not blood on my hands. But we have confirmed it as blood on the hands, not bread on the hands. And that will be the latest in my lyrical disasters. Are you listening to anything new?
Shout out to Devin Walker. He sent me a great blues song. And it is porch sitting weather, and when I sit on the porch, I do enjoy listening to the blues. It's titled "Help Me Find My Draws," and it's a banger. I love it so very, very much. Outside of that, nothing came across this week for me. I'm just kind of bopping about, listening to some R&B, listening to some Flow and to some No Guidance, the group, not the Chris Brown song. Outside of that, no, I'm not really listening to anything outside of the ordinary.
Yeah, the only things I've really kept continuing to, obviously, Alligator Bites Never Heal came out last year, but it's had its moment in early 2025, and so I've been listening to that a lot, listening to the Teddy Swims album quite a bit. I keep turning on the Bad Bunny album when I just need something in the background doing chores and whatnot, because it's putting me in a boppy dance move, which is fun, but I'm still waiting for that really great song that is far better than Fat, Juicy, and Wet. That becomes my first real, like, ooh, I love this. This is something I'll remember from 2025. It's only February. Tomorrow's March. I'm not trying to rush it. I'm not trying to rush it.
This is your 5th time bringing it up.
I'm not trying to rush it. No, I want to make sure that today is appropriately
you can
celebrated.
do that without saying, hey, you know, tomorrow is March. Tomorrow's mine.
You know
the
what?
month is mine.
Why don't we just call tomorrow February 29th? Why do we have to do this leap year?
Because I'm an actual ally, and I don't want to take from women, unlike you taking from black people, but that's what your people do.
Well,
That's
I think you
something
should
to
have
be
a longer
expected.
month to begin with, is my primary issue.
Yeah, I agree.
You have
Give
the
us
shortest month of the year, and that's not fair.
31 days, man.
It's not
We
fair.
can't even get 30.
Can't it be January? But why can't it be every month?
January. It should be every month.
It should be every
Black
month.
History every month. But we're not allowed to. The Department of Education said we can't do that.
I hate when they get in the way.
Yeah.
It's a bummer.
Yeah. It sucks. Oh well. Women's History Month.
No.
Women's Herstory Month.
No, it's not here yet.
I've been working on my hers.
Don't turn the page.
It's gonna be sweat her season. Just you wait.
I was talking about, long story short to end the show. Whoa! I was going into
You
it
can tear
about
up the studio
just like
next month.
health-related, make of this as you will, health-related advancements that happened at like the turn of the century in the early 1900s, and mix in the whole measles situation occurring now. And I was talking to Chris about it and how like progressive at the time the early 1900s were, Teddy Roosevelt, like what was happening, and he just goes, yeah, but like, you couldn't even wear pants then. And I just said, wow. Okay, fine. You win. You're right. I couldn't wear pants then.
Thank goodness for men like Chris to remind you women how good you have it right now.
Thank goodness.
That's
we have
what
it.
that month should be about. Hey, women, look at all the things we allow
Remember
you to
when you
do
couldn't
now.
wear pants?
You remember that?
Pantaloons?
You couldn't wear
Now, I couldn't even do this.
No.
Because I'd be in a skirt. I mean, technically I could.
Also, wouldn't be able to do it because we wouldn't let you talk on a show.
That's true.
What are you talking about?
On a show? Talk in general.
Know your role and shut your mouth.
You're right. So I appreciate the advancements that have led me right here today, sitting alongside CJ every day. We'll be here tonight, FedEx Forum, Grizzlies, Knicks. Are you going to the game tonight?
I might.
As a fan?
I might.
Okay. Chris is going to the game.
Oh, okay.
You guys want to link up?
All right.
We'll be back on Monday. We'll have 2 Grizzlies games to talk about. We'll find out what else is happening in this fun-filled world.
What's wrong with you?
I don't know, man. It's the end of a long week. My brain is
Just end
broken.
the
Bye.
show. All you have to do is, hey, we'll talk to you next week.